One of the reasons, back to what Avishai was showing, this whole evolution of data privacy regulations around the world, is that if you're a global enterprise, there's definitely one place where all your customer data resides, and that's Salesforce. And now you are tasked with trying to figure out how to make sense of it all and comply with all these different regulations, right? GDPR, CCPA, CDPA here in America, LGBT in Brazil, and so on and so forth. So the intent here is, how do we holistically protect data, both from a security and privacy perspective? And it breaks down into two different areas. One is, how do I protect my data in sandboxes? If you have Salesforce sandboxes, which actually every customer has, right? If you have full, partial dev sandboxes, you have personal information everywhere. You have business sensitive data everywhere. At a minimum, you have employee records as users, you have price book information, you have product information, and that is in your dev sandboxes also, which we would like to think has no data, right? And in your full and partial copy, you have a ton of other information. Who do I sell to? How much I sell it for? My customers, accounts, public sector, military, whatever kind of customers you have. How do you sell it? All the competitive information, your pricing, your quoting, your orders. There's a lot of information there that you don't want people to have access to as is if you can avoid it. And that's the first thing you can do. The lowest hanging fruit in this equation is sandbox masking. You want to have sandbox masking and deletion. That's your first step. And the second track is really, how do we keep our production data fit, if you will, and ensure that it's not bulking up and in an unproductive way. And this is all about building an internal consensus, defining retention policies, automating this, and then constantly monitoring and minimizing. So in some ways, this whole 5-step thing is not very different from the 3 buckets that Avishai was showing and the arrow going back, right? The whole idea here is, how do we constantly manage and monitor the information that we are collecting? And how do we ensure that it contributes to our bottom line? It contributes to customer trust. It keeps us compliant and out of the risk of breach, fines, embarrassment, things like that.